All right, guys, we are back. We're doing something a little different. Honestly, I did the we're back thing. Don't make a meme out of it this time, Tyler. But we're a little out of order here. We've been doing the breakdowns. You guys saw we did the barrel racing and the team roping breakdown. Well, the bull riding has been like nothing short of amazing. I mean, really, it has been. We've seen people getting thrown. We saw a night where there was only 2 qualified rides, and what I thought is I would bring my buddy in here, Bonner, who is he's the foremost expert in the room on bull riding. He understands these big stages, and in fact, he knows bull riding so well that he came out with this app. It's actually the official sports betting app for the PBR called Rank Ride. You guys check that out when you're done with this. But that just tells you how much knowledge he has. He's competed in the sport until he got injured, and he's one of the guys who probably knows it best. So I was like, hey, dude, come down. Let's break down the bull riding and see kind of what you've thought. So, yeah, I mean, what's been your opinion of
Thanks
the
for having
NFR
me.
2020 so far?
Well, actually, I've been really impressed with the newcomers, it seems like, that are really stepping in there. Ty Wallace had a really good ride last night. I know Ty, he went to school at Odessa College. Really love his riding style. Number one, I think that's a good one to point out. He had a really nice, flashy bull. It seemed like the bull power was pretty nice. A little bit inconsistent in the round last night, but so far pretty good from what I can tell.
Yeah, and Ty actually, he had round 4 as well. So, I mean, one thing about Ty, and he was actually on the show last night. I encourage you guys to go tune in, check that out. But he had an arm stepped on, healed that up, and then had a leg stepped on him. He hasn't been to the NFR since 2017. So for him, like, it's kind of a comeback story. And
is it Parker McCowan? Is he the one with the injured shoulder?
Yeah.
Is that the one? I think
so, yeah.
I think that was the most impressive thing to me last night when I was watching. They were talking about his injury, and right before he comes out there and smashes it on his ride, and then you hear, I don't know how many people were watching, but you hear him go behind the chutes, and you could hear the pain. Like, he just yelled out. That takes a lot of grit to push through an injury like that and keep riding and ride a good bull like that and still win on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, for him to be in the money at all. I mean, actually last night we saw 8 qualified rides. So, I mean, that was some of the most qualified rides we've seen. I mean, if you saw the round that Colton Fritzland won and Ty Wallace second on that one, what a nice payday that was. But I mean, that was a serious pin of bulls, and we had 2 qualified rides.
And then you got Colton Fritzland, a newcomer, first time. Really awesome kid. I got to meet him not that long ago. I didn't even know he was an NFR qualifier. You wouldn't know it by just talking to the kid. He's super humble and great attitude, really positive vibe. But it's been cool to see him step in there round after round and just knock him out. It's really cool. I like his riding style. He rides really correct, stays nice and square, sits up on him real pretty, and makes it look easy when he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and talking about easy, I mean, what about the dude who's leading the world right now, Kai? I mean, you talk to anybody about Kai Hamilton. I mean, he was staying up at Cody Lambert's, and those guys say that he'll make jokes about being lazy and all that, but actually, from what everybody says, all he does is work.
Kai Hamilton, another great dude. And so far, I don't really know the guy real well personally, but from what I do know, he does have a great work ethic and puts a lot into it. Also a real well-known PBR bull rider. He's been on the PBR tour off and on all this year. And then not to mention an Australian rider. He's coming over here from Australia in a different country, which is always a huge challenge and a great thing to step up to. Over here in the States, the bulls buck a little bit more harder on average. I think they have a little deeper breeding program here, and it's a whole nother level for him to step up to, and he's matched it very well.
Yeah. I mean, for him to come in the way that he has, so humble, so almost like shy on camera. I mean, he really is. Even back in the day when he came on the gauge, we were just talking about that not too long ago. He was saying that his goal was to win the world way back, right after COVID hit. And I mean,
now
he's a man of his word.
Did he come in here winning it? I'm not sure. I wasn't keeping up with it much.
Sage was leading the
pack.
Sage
was winning it.
Yeah, and I think Sage is down to 5th or 6th in the world right now. I think he's had 2 qualified rides and has been pretty low in the money those 2 nights, but I mean, he's getting thrown.
Yeah, I've been a little bit surprised at his go at it this year at the finals, but the guy's had a great run for several years now. You got to know it's his time to let some of these other guys get the money.
I mean, he's just up against, at least in this NFR, and I'm not the expert on bull riding, but if you watch it time and time again, especially the last few years, I mean, you can kind of almost write what's going to happen. You can't do that this year.
No, it seems a little bit at random, who's winning the rounds, who's stepping up to the plate in the average. And, you can't count Sage out yet, though, because of his record. And a guy like him, he's probably facing some injuries at his age. He's been riding for a long time, been on a lot of bulls. And, but, he could come in here, swing big, and win rounds, from this night forward, and still, I wouldn't count him out yet.
I mean, he needs one round win to be right back at the top. So, I mean, I don't know how many rounds he's won, but it's a ton.
Yeah, he has a pretty good track record here at the NFR.
Yeah, one of the best. But what's interesting is Boudreaux Campbell. You were at the PBR. I was at the PBR, and I wasn't able to make it over to the rank ride stuff because I got tied up with the WCRA stuff. But I mean, Boudreaux won the. He won
the average and the Rookie of the Year title. Super impressive kid. I love his grit and determination. He doesn't always have the prettiest style, but dang sure determined not to let go, and that's all it takes, really. And at the end of the day, to be a winner, you just gotta have the most try.
Right. Well, it almost seems like in the PBR, like the guys, like you see Sage, and he makes it look really easy, which doesn't necessarily translate over to the PBR as well, because the whole thing with the PBR is this fight between the bull and the cowboy, and it almost seems like they score better in the PBR if their riding's not.
Yeah,
like that.
I think it's the bulls on average are pretty much the top level bulls in the world there at PBR every weekend in and out. And you're going to see a lot of the same bulls here at the NFR, a lot of the same stock contractors. And it's interesting, to see, I think, every year kind of the list of guys on the roster for NFR and PBR, week in and week out. A lot of them are the same guys you'll see at both finals. But, it's a whole nother level of bull power. And when you get here to the NFR, a lot of these guys haven't seen these bulls all year long, and then they come here, and it's the top of the top. It's cool to see who steps up and really, really brings it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is. And you're seeing a lot of crossovers, right? I mean, I know that Kai Hamilton, Colton Fritzland, obviously Boudreaux, those guys are going to focus on PBR probably next year. I know that's something that they both told me, and
absolutely,
obviously Boudreaux would be crazy not to after the finals he had.
Oh, completely. No, it's really cool, and it's cool to see guys like Clayton Sellers. He's mostly, I think, been a PRCA rider for most of his career, as far as I know, but has a great style. Definitely a guy I could see going over and crossing over to PBR and doing really well too.
Yeah, I mean, you got to wonder, right? I mean, some of these guys, obviously Sage Kimsey's kind of shown that he's the top guy in the PRCA, and it'd be really tough to give that up and go over to the PBR and kind of get worked a little bit until you figure that out there.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
These young guys, I mean, with the way the PBR's marketed itself, I mean, a guy like Kai Hamilton, he may take a gold buckle and never come back to rodeo.
Yeah, he might. Or he might decide to give Sage a run for his money and keep going back to these things, you never know. But I just like what's going on in the world of rodeo with bull riding nowadays. It seems like there's a lot more collaboration, and you see a lot more crossover, a lot more guys doing both. And I think the market's, definitely got room for that, and I love that. I like seeing people give it a joint effort and make things big for the cowboy world.
Absolutely. 2020 you would have rode as probably one of the worst years for rodeo, but I mean, it actually, by the time this is done, it might be one of the best years. I mean, you've seen them sell this place out to the point where they're actually giving normal round money, which is
I think
amazing.
That's huge. Yeah, just I think it speaks volumes for the cowboy spirit and drive and determination what the pro rodeo world's done through the pandemic, along with PBR. And my hat's off to both for making this happen this year, and especially here in Texas. It's a real honor to have it here. I know everybody likes to go to Vegas and get into those slot machines and on the blackjack table
and other things. Yeah.
But it's nice to have it here for the economy. I'm a native Texan, and obviously, it's great for our economy here. So it'll be interesting to see where things go after this year. But I have no doubt it'll probably be back in Vegas next year, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think.
Hopefully things return to normal.
Yeah, I mean, God, I don't know how much more we can all take of this, but I mean, it's been a good 10 days or 6 days for rodeo, and we're like halfway through 6 days, but they all blend together. So someone in the comments is going to correct me, but I appreciate you stopping by and giving us your kind of your feedback. You know a ton about the industry, and who better to come in here and kind of break down bull riding than you, in my opinion. I don't have a lot of bull rider friends other than you.
Yeah, so. Man. Well, anytime. Thanks for having me. I will be looking forward to tonight's round. I'd say
pick your guy.
My money's on Clayton Sellers tonight. I'm going to pick Clayton. Yep.
Clayton Sellers.
He's due for a round win.
I am going to pick Sage. I think it has been 5 nights of hell for Sage. I just think he might get it done.
Look at that. We're already starting our fantasy team, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, says the guy with the sports app.
Check out Rank Ride Fantasy.
Do it, guys. It's pretty sweet. You should definitely give Rank Ride a go. It's as fun, if not more fun, than some of the other fantasy sports apps out there, because it's rodeo and we don't really care about football.
Yeah, and actually we've kind of had a new development come up lately. We're going to be really focusing on media content, extra special features that we'll be doing throughout the year next year. So give the fans something interesting to watch for backstories and kind of just lifestyle culture that, evolving around the Western industry. So check it out. RankRideFantasy.com. Cool, dude. Thank you.